Imagine a world where every move you make is deliberate, where you're not a puppet to your emotions but the master of them. This is the world of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that can drastically transform your approach to life, relationships, and yes, even dating. In today's video, we're going to explore how ignoring her, yes, ignoring her, can actually change the entire dating game. But this isn't about manipulation or playing hard to get. This is about mastering yourself, applying the principles of Stoicism and living with purpose and integrity. 1. The power of self-control. One of the most foundational principles in the Stoic philosophy is self-control. To the Stoics, this was not about repressing or ignoring emotions, but about understanding them and choosing how to respond. They believed that while we cannot control the outside world, we can absolutely control how we react to it. In the realm of dating, this idea is especially powerful. In modern dating culture, there's an overwhelming urge to act fast. We live in a world where instant responses are expected, and validation from others seems to be the measure of our self-worth. How many times have you felt anxious waiting for someone to respond? How many times have you sent a message, only to check your phone obsessively for a reply? This is the game society has conditioned us to play, constantly chasing attention, approval, and validation from others. But what if you didn't play by those rules? What if, instead of reacting impulsively, you paused? What if, instead of jumping at every notification, you chose to focus on your own growth, your own peace of mind? What if you allowed the relationship to unfold naturally rather than forcing it to follow a frantic pace? This is the essence of Stoic self-control. It's not about playing games or being unavailable. It's about controlling your impulses and directing your energy towards things that genuinely matter. When you practice this kind of restraint, something interesting happens. You begin to cultivate an inner strength, a sense of self-assurance that radiates outward. You're not dependent on someone else's reply or attention to feel good about yourself. When you ignore the immediate urge to respond, what you're really doing is demonstrating to yourself and to the world that your life doesn't revolve around external validation. And here's the unexpected result. This calm, composed attitude is incredibly attractive. Why? Because it signals something powerful, that you're in control of your own life. You're not chasing after someone's attention. You're not seeking approval. You're leading. In a world of instant gratification, where people are constantly vying for each other's attention, the person who takes a step back stands out. The one who isn't constantly checking their phone, who doesn't feel the need to reply within seconds, suddenly becomes a breath of fresh air. By practicing self-control, you create space for mystery, for interest, and for genuine connection. This is the beauty of Stoicism applied to dating. It's not about suppressing emotions or avoiding connection. It's about mastering your impulses, deciding how you want to act, rather than being a slave to your feelings or the expectations of others. When you ignore the constant need for validation, you begin to build an inner strength, a sense of quiet confidence that speaks louder than any words or instant messages ever could. This kind of self-control doesn't just benefit you, it transforms the way others perceive you. It's not about manipulation or playing hard to get. It's about showing, through your actions, that you are the master of your own life. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking approval, you naturally create an aura of confidence and self-respect. And this, in turn, attracts people to you. Not because you're playing a game, but because they see that you're not playing at all. Stoicism teaches us that self-control isn't about ignoring emotions, but about mastering them. When you ignore the impulse to seek approval, you create a powerful presence. A presence that speaks of confidence, purpose, and a life lived with intention. And in the dating world, that kind of energy is irresistible. 2. The importance of purpose. Another core principle of Stoicism is living in accordance with your purpose, your higher calling, the mission that drives you. The Stoics believed that purpose is not just a goal or a hobby, it is the very essence of who we are and what we aspire to be. Yet, when it comes to dating, people often stray from their purpose. They become so consumed by the desire to be liked, to be validated, that they lose themselves in the process. Too often in dating, people compromise their true selves. They mold their behavior, interests, and schedules around someone else's expectations. They give up on their ambitions, neglect their passions, and shift their priorities to fit into someone else's life. But the Stoics would remind you that your purpose is sacred. It's your guiding light, the very thing that makes you who you are. To abandon it is to lose your way. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself rearranging your entire day just to accommodate someone else's schedule? Or maybe you've put your own goals and dreams on hold to spend more time with someone, thinking that's the key to winning their affection. The truth is, when we deviate from our purpose, we lose the essence of what makes us attractive in the first place, our sense of direction and drive. When you live with purpose, you naturally become less dependent on external sources of happiness. You don't rely on a romantic partner to fill a void because your life is already filled with meaning. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, from living in alignment with your values and pursuing what truly matters to you. When you ignore her, not in a way that is dismissive or manipulative, but in a way that prioritizes your personal growth, your goals, and your purpose, you're sending a powerful message. You're showing that you are not here to merely seek temporary satisfaction or validation from another person. You're on a mission, a journey of self-improvement, and that kind of focus is magnetic. It's often said that people are attracted to those who know where they're going in life, and there's truth in that. When you are fully engaged in pursuing your purpose, you become a person of substance. You're not chasing after someone else's affection because you have a direction, a drive that fuels you. And others, including romantic partners, will be drawn to that energy. The Stoics understood that purpose is not something you sacrifice for others. It's something you cultivate for yourself. When you remain committed to your goals and passions, you exude a quiet confidence that speaks louder than words. You don't have to chase after anyone's attention, because your focus and drive naturally draw people towards you. Living with purpose doesn't mean you're indifferent to relationships. In fact, it can make your relationships even stronger. When you have a clear sense of who you are and what you're working towards, you approach dating from a place of abundance, not need. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone who can walk beside you as you pursue your purpose. Purpose grounds you. It gives you something solid to stand on, especially in the often turbulent waters of dating. When you live in alignment with your purpose, you don't get swept away by fleeting emotions or the need for constant attention. You remain rooted in who you are. And that kind of stability is not only attractive, it's essential for long-lasting, meaningful connections. So remember this: your purpose is your anchor. Don't lose sight of it. Live with intention. Pursue what matters to you, and the right people will be drawn into your life. Not because you've chased them, but because they're inspired by your unwavering sense of direction. 3. Detachment from outcomes. One of the most challenging yet liberating lessons in Stoicism is the art of detaching from outcomes. It's a concept that runs deep in Stoic philosophy, understanding that while we have control over our actions and intentions, we don't have control over the results. This shift in perspective is crucial, especially when applied to dating. Too often, people in the dating world fixate on what might happen next. They overanalyze interactions, replay conversations in their heads, and obsess over whether or not the other person will call them back, text them, or agree to another date. It becomes less about enjoying the experience of meeting someone new and more about achieving a specific result. But the Stoics teach us to let go of this mindset. They remind us that our responsibility lies in our actions, not in the outcomes. In the realm of Stoicism, detachment from outcomes is not about being indifferent or uncaring. It's about realizing that your happiness, your peace of mind, doesn't depend on external validation or the results of a romantic encounter. When you free yourself from the need for a specific outcome, you also free yourself from the anxiety, stress, and emotional roller coasters that often come with dating. Instead of constantly worrying about whether she will text you back or if the date went well enough for a second, you focus on the present. You enjoy the process of getting to know someone, savoring the conversations, the laughs, the moments of connection, without letting the fear of rejection or the hope for validation cloud your mind. When you detach from the outcome, you shift your focus from the future to the now. You're no longer living in anticipation of what might happen, but fully engaged in what is happening. This shift in perspective allows you to live with more presence, more joy, and more confidence. You stop worrying about what you can't control, the other person's reaction, and start enjoying what you can control: your actions, your thoughts, your presence. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about the outcome. It means that, while you're open to whatever happens, you're not dependent on it. You're not relying on the other person to validate your worth or bring you happiness. Whether the date leads to something more or not, you remain centered, content, and at peace. This level of detachment is freeing. When you stop clinging to specific outcomes, you open yourself up to whatever the universe has in store for you. Whether it's a deeper connection with someone, or simply the lesson of a fleeting encounter, you're at peace with whatever unfolds. You're not chasing, not grasping. You're simply living, experiencing, and appreciating each moment for what it is. Detachment from outcomes creates a powerful shift in your energy. When you're not obsessed with winning someone over or making sure things go a certain way, you exude confidence, calm, and self-assuredness. You become more attractive, not because you're playing games, but because you're genuinely at ease with yourself and the situation. The Stoics teach us that our peace should never be tied to something outside of our control. By letting go of the need for specific outcomes, especially in dating, you create a space for genuine connection to flourish. You're not trying to force things or manipulate situations. Instead, you're allowing life to unfold naturally, knowing that no matter the result, you remain whole, complete, and content. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've learned to care without clinging. You're open to love, connection, and possibilities, but you're not defined by them. And when you master this level of detachment, you find a sense of freedom and inner peace that's rare and deeply attractive. The power of mystery and attraction. In the age of constant connection and oversharing, there's something undeniably compelling about a person who maintains a sense of mystery. While the Stoics were not advocates of playing games or manipulating others, they understood human nature well. They knew that restraint, focus, and self-possession had a magnetic quality, and this extends into the realm of dating. In the world of dating, it's easy to fall into the habit of constantly seeking the other person's attention, whether it's through text messages, social media, or calls. But when you stop trying to keep her attention, an interesting shift occurs. You become more intriguing, not because you're deliberately withholding, but because you're genuinely invested in living a fulfilling life independent of her validation. In modern dating culture, where we are constantly bombarded with likes, comments, and instant messages, the man who isn't glued to his phone or overly eager to seek validation stands out. He's not playing hard to get. He's simply content in his own life. This creates a healthy sense of mystery, not because he's hiding anything, but because he's not overexposing himself. He's not constantly explaining his every action or sharing every detail of his day. Curiosity is a powerful thing. When you don't make yourself completely accessible, when you don't bombard her with constant messages or attention, you create space for her to wonder about you. And in that space, attraction can grow. You're not neglecting her. You're showing her that you have your own life, your own goals, and that your happiness isn't solely dependent on her. This isn't about playing mind games or being manipulative. It's about demonstrating that your life is full and meaningful, with or without her presence. When you're centered in your purpose and your own personal growth, you become someone who's naturally more attractive because you're not seeking validation from outside sources. Stoicism teaches us that true confidence comes from within. It's not about arrogance or aloofness. It's about knowing that you're enough as you are. You're not driven by the need for external validation, and you don't chase after someone just to fill a void in your life. Instead, you create an aura of self-assuredness that others naturally find attractive. When you live a life filled with purpose and passion, you become someone who is worth pursuing, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're genuinely focused on the things that matter to you. You're not distracted by the need to impress someone or constantly seek their approval. Instead, you remain grounded in your own self-worth. There's something captivating about a person who doesn't need you to make them whole. The Stoics understood that true strength comes from within, from living in accordance with your values, your purpose, and your inner peace. And when you embody that strength, you naturally draw others to you, not out of desperation but out of genuine connection. When you stop seeking attention and instead focus on living a meaningful life, you create a powerful dynamic of attraction. You show that you are not reliant on anyone else for your happiness, and that kind of independence is rare and beautiful. It's not about mystery for the sake of being elusive. It's about living a life that's rich and full, with or without the validation of others. Ultimately, the power of mystery in dating isn't about withholding. It's about showing that your life is meaningful and full. It's about letting go of the need for constant attention and instead focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. And when you do that, you'll find that the right people are naturally drawn to you, because self-assuredness, confidence, and a sense of purpose are undeniably attractive. 5. Emotional stability and strength. In today's world of fast-paced communication and instant gratification, the emotional roller coaster of dating can feel overwhelming. One moment, you're elated from a perfect conversation, and the next, you're anxious, waiting for a response that seems to take forever. Emotions often take the driver's seat, pulling you in different directions. But one of the core teachings of Stoicism is emotional stability. In dating, this is the ability to remain calm, centered, and composed, no matter the highs or lows that come your way. Stoicism teaches that emotions, while natural, are fleeting. They come and go like waves on the shore. By practicing emotional stability, you learn to ride those waves without being swept away by them. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or pretend they don't exist. Instead, it means recognizing them for what they are, temporary, and choosing to respond from a place of calm and control rather than reacting impulsively. In modern dating, emotional instability is all too common. People often let their emotions dictate their actions, responding out of jealousy, fear, or excitement without fully understanding the root of those feelings. But when you practice emotional stability, you're not easily shaken by the ups and downs. You become someone who is steady, reliable, and grounded, and that is incredibly attractive. Emotional stability is about being your own source of strength. When you cultivate this inner resilience, you're no longer at the mercy of external events or people's actions. Whether she calls or not, whether she likes you or rejects you, it doesn't sway your sense of self-worth. You remain grounded in your values and principles, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. Being emotionally stable doesn't mean being cold or detached. It doesn't mean you don't feel excitement, joy, or even sadness. It means that you acknowledge those emotions without letting them dictate your actions. You respond rather than react. And, in doing so, you become a source of calm and strength. Not just for yourself, but for those around you. In relationships, emotional stability is a cornerstone of trust and safety. When you're calm and composed, you provide a sense of security to your partner. They know they can rely on you, not just when things are going well, but especially when challenges arise. This makes you a rock in the relationship, someone who can weather any storm with grace. When you're emotionally stable, you don't need to control the situation or the other person's emotions. You trust that you can handle whatever arises, and that trust extends to those around you. This kind of emotional resilience is rare, and it's deeply attractive because it shows maturity, self-awareness, and confidence. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in mastering our emotions, not being mastered by them. When you're emotionally stable, you can handle the highs and lows of dating and of life without losing your center. You become someone others can rely on, not because you're emotionless, but because you have learned how to navigate your emotions with wisdom and care. Emotional stability is one of the most powerful traits you can cultivate, both in dating and in life. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to understand them, process them, and respond in a way that aligns with your values. When you embody this kind of emotional strength, you naturally attract people who respect and admire you for it. Ultimately, emotional stability is the foundation of a fulfilling relationship. It allows you to navigate the complexities of love and life with grace, ensuring that no matter what happens, you remain grounded, confident, and true to yourself. And when you cultivate this inner strength, you'll find that others are naturally drawn to the peace and security you provide. So, how does ignoring her change the dating game? It's simple. By focusing on your own growth, purpose, and emotional mastery, you become a man who doesn't chase but leads, a man who doesn't react impulsively but acts with intention, and in doing so, you create an energy that is irresistibly attractive. Remember, Stoicism isn't about indifference, it's about mastery of your mind, your emotions, and your life. And when you live like this, the dating game doesn't control you. You control your own path. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more insights on how Stoic principles can transform every area of your life.